Today I'm gonna go ahead and make a chicken okra sausage gumbo with no roux. So this is a pretty low carb version of it, and you really can't tell the difference between having roux in it and not having roux in it. So what we'll be using, I may use this depending on how dark I can get it without it. 1 bay leaf. This is some pressure canned okra. This is basically store-bought okra, and you just pressure can it. I did this in January of this year. Paprika, a little bit of slap your mama, garlic powder, parsley flakes, some bell pepper, onion, sausage. This is some smoked sausage from the southwestern part of Louisiana, I think around Pond Prairie. And this is some andouille sausage. It's 100 calories per 2 ounces, and this is a little over 2 ounces. So between that and that, that's gonna be plenty enough sausage. And of course we'll have some chicken, which this is just legs and thighs and the wings. I left the skin on the wings, but the legs and thighs I pulled the skin off. So let's get started. So first thing, we'll use the food processor to chop up the onions. Find this is the easiest way. I just pulse it. This thing does a pretty good job. So we'll go ahead and add this, and we'll start cooking. So I have a little bit olive oil in the pot, and not a lot at all. I mean, just maybe a teaspoon. It don't take much. Now we're gonna start browning the onion. And once I get this to where I want it, I'll show you how brown I can get it. And while the chicken is browning, the onions are browning, I'm gonna go ahead and take my non-stick skillet, add a little olive oil to it, and a little bit butter, not a lot, about like that. And we're gonna brown the chicken and the sausage in my little skillet back here, my non-stick skillet. It's gonna take a little while, so I'll show you once I start getting everything brown. Okay, the onions are cooking nicely, starting to brown, and what I'm doing is, as it gets a little brown, starting in the pot, I add a little bit of water so it doesn't burn, and I'm gonna just let it dry out again, let it brown a little bit more, then add a little bit of water again to kind of just so the onions don't burn. As far as this goes, this is my sausage, my andouille, my smoked sausage. I cut the smoked sausage in pretty small pieces, and I cut the andouille in just slices. And the chicken, like I said, I got the skin off most of it. I left the skin on the wings just for a little bit of flavor. That way I can get a good brown on them. And that's it. Just cooking the chicken and the sausage till it browns, and cooking the onions till it browns. Okay, I just turned the chicken once, and as you can see, it's starting to get a nice little brown on it. And just kind of keep flipping it, about every 5 minutes or so. And the sausage browns real easy. So, and this is my onions coming along. You can see the bottom of the pot the sides are starting to get a little brown on them. I'll go ahead and add a little water, and just kind of deglaze the sides where you don't get no burnt taste. Alright, I'm pretty happy where the onions are at. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is add some stuff here. This is some chicken stock that I canned in February. A lot better than that store-bought one, I think. I'm going to add that to it. This is my okra that we canned. And the top's pretty pressurized on it. You gotta use a spoon to kind of lift it off. Gotta add that to it. And then we're gonna add some seasoning. I'm gonna add some paprika. I don't really measure it, I just kind of look at the color. The color's not quite where I want, I just add some more stuff to it. I'm gonna add a bay leaf. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. A little bit more. Add some parsley flakes. Not a lot, not like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of bell pepper. This is a bell pepper I had through my food processor, so it's chopped up pretty fine. Chicken's still going. I'm gonna add a little bit of this is some dried onion flakes. Add that to it. And we're gonna add a little bit of the Slap Your Mama seasoning. And that's it for now. We're gonna let the chicken keep cooking in that back pot, but we're gonna take some of the sausage out because the sausage don't take long. So we'll just kind of get most of the sausage out, I think. And I got a nice some grease that the sausage made, so that's I'm using that also to you really don't have to add the olive oil if you're adding the sausage to brown it like this. And we're not going to be throwing none of these juices away. I'm going to deglaze this pan and throw all that in the pot too after. Alright, that's most of it. We're going to let that keep cooking. And I got my heat on probably a medium heat and a medium low in the back. I'm going to raise that up a little bit. Alrighty. Chicken's getting pretty brown back here, as you can see. That's about where I want it. I'll go a little bit more. And what you could also do for this gumbo is if you got some canned chicken. I did this in June of this year, but you only need to add this in at the last like probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes of cooking because this is already like totally cooked. And the only other thing I'm going to add to this little gumbo is some chicken gizzards. And we're going to put that in right now. I processed these in February of this year. Juice and all. And probably the last 40 minutes of cooking, I'm gonna drop about 4 eggs in here, whole eggs. Just crack them and throw them right in the pot. And I'm not gonna have rice with this. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put the chicken in. And just gonna let this cook on low for probably about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. And we're going to deglaze this pan. Add a little water to it. That's where all the flavors are at. I mean, yeah, I got a little grease in it, but that's really where your flavors are at. So, all right, I'm going to continue to let it cook and just try to get most of it out. And after about I guess an hour of cooking, I'll taste it and see what I got to add to it. I'm sure I got to add some a little bit of salt to it. But for right now, I'm just let this go with the cover on a low heat. Yeah, one thing I forgot to add is some Rotel. I'm not gonna put all of it. I'm gonna probably put probably half the can. A little bit of the juice, and that's it. Give it a little color, give it a little extra flavor. Don't have to add it if you don't want. Alright, we've been cooking about an hour now. And that's how we look. You see the Rotel kind of floating up. The last like probably 30 minutes of cooking, I'm gonna add some green onion tops to it. And that's I guess around 40 minutes before it's done. I'm gonna add the some eggs to it. But this is after about an hour. Like I said, everything's starting to come together nicely. You can add more water to it if you want. I like mine a little thick, so I'm gonna just let this cook down. And once you put the eggs in there, it might thicken up a little bit more. So I'll show you when I get to that step, but I'll probably let this go another hour. I want the chicken pretty much falling apart. The gizzards are already cooked, so that's gonna really, this is one right here, you can see it kind of, that's gonna really fall up. No, that was a sausage, but you get the idea. Like I said, everything, the gizzards are fully cooked, so these are gonna be like real tender to eat. That's part of the gizzard right there. It's been about, I guess about an hour and a half, and the chicken's pretty much done. I mean, it's starting to come apart pretty good. I mean, I don't want it to be falling apart, but I think that's perfect. Plus, it's gonna heat some more because I cooked this a little early, so I'm gonna heat it back up before I eat it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add. I had this in the ice box. There's a little bit of chicken liver. I'm gonna add that to it. And I'm also gonna add, like I said, this is gonna cook for about another 30 minutes. And I'm gonna add a little bit of, a couple of eggs. And for my eggs, I'm gonna put a little salt and pepper on them as I put them in. Like I said, I'll put in 2. Just don't stir them when you put them in. Just kind of set them in the pan, and always crack my eggs in a separate dish first. That way you don't get no shells in your pot. And like I said, we're just putting a little salt and a little pepper, and just dump them in. I'm only doing 2, and when you heat this back up, like for supper or whatever, you can add more eggs to it when you heat it back up. But you could do hard-boiled eggs too, but I like them like this. The eggs absorb the moisture from the gumbo. And we're gonna put that a little higher and just let that simmer probably for another 30 minutes or so. The liver ain't gonna take long, and the eggs won't take long. And when I heat it back up for lunch, I'll probably warm it back up real slow for 20 or 30 minutes. So there you go. So this has been cooking about another 30 minutes, I guess, since I put the eggs in. So we got the egg, put in 2. We got the chicken. I put in a little bit liver. Like I said, I cooked it about 30 minutes, but I'm gonna cook it about 30 minutes more when I warm it back up for lunch. And so that's how we look. Everything's done. This can be just eaten over regular white rice. I'm gonna just have it like this with the 2 eggs, some meat, and some gravy. But yeah, came out really good. Like I said, this is made with no roux, so very low carb. So yeah, it's a summer, but hey, I can eat a gumbo at any time. So that's it. That's how you do it.